This woman is really too beautiful to see. How Wonder Woman Diana taught the robbers a lesson. She grabs one of the robbers and throws him out, then leaps across the mall. She jumped in front of the other two robbers, put them under control, and directly crushed the gun in their hands. Then she did a beautiful pirouette and kicked one of the robbers straight out. She grabbed him by his feet and hung him in midair, then chained them up and threw them from the mall to the police. Diana also has a colleague named Barbara. She was average looking and a drag. Her co-workers didn't like her, even when she dropped her papers on the floor and wanted her co-workers to help pick them up. Even her colleagues would walk away indifferently. Only Diana doesn't mind her and often helps her. Barbara is a gemologist and zoologist. One day the company asked her to study a stone. Barbara saw the stone and thought that it was not a gemstone, but probably a worthless piece of junk. Diana picked it up and found a few words in Latin engraved around the stone, which said, "Hold it and make a wish, and your wish will come true." They thought it was deliberately engraved for the sake of sales to attract attention. At this time, a colleague also came over to join the fun. He touched the stone and made a wish. They thought it was funny, but the next second, this colleague's wish came true. They thought it was a coincidence and didn't care about it. In the evening, Barbara came home and was harassed by a drunken man. She got into a fight with the drunk and suddenly the drunk was kicked out. The one who saved her was Diana. Barbara looked at the drunk, who flew several meters away, and wondered why Diana was so brave. After they parted, Barbara didn't go home, but went to the office. She hoped that the stone would really grant her wish, so she made a wish to be as beautiful, strong and powerful as Diana. Little did she know that the next day her wish would come true. She really looked better. Her colleagues looked at her differently. That day a man named Loader came to the company. Loader claimed to be an oil tycoon and wanted to work with them. The company gave Loader to Barbara to entertain, and he overlooked the stone and became interested in it. Because he had been studying the stone, he knew it had divine powers. Loader was not an oil tycoon at all, not even a drop of oil. His investors were pulling out and calling him a loser, and in front of his son. This incident made Loader furious. At a party, Loader lured Barbara into his office. While being close to Barbara, he steals the stone. Diana has discovered the secret of the stone. She looks around the party for Barbara. Diana thinks it's just a womanizer who is hitting on her, but ignores him and scolds him. Instead, the man handed her a watch. The watch belonged to her boyfriend, Steve. The next moment, the man becomes Steve. Diana couldn't believe it when she saw her long-lost boyfriend standing in front of her. The wish she had made on the stone had come true. Diana felt happier than ever when they were reunited again after years of separation. But underneath this happiness, there is a huge crisis brewing. Loader was given a wishing stone, and his wish for the stone was to have the power of the stone. Suddenly, the stone slowly turns into powder and Loader feels dizzy. The stone successfully transferred its power to him. From then on, he could do whatever he wanted to do. First, he found his investor and used the stone's power to take over his oil company. Then he found an oil tycoon and wanted to work with him. To his surprise, he was ridiculed by the oil tycoon and the others. In his anger, he took control of them. At the same time, Barbara discovered that she had divine powers. Not only that, but since she made that wish, she becomes more and more attractive, and her popularity in the company grew. This made her feel like she was being worshipped. That's when Diana and her boyfriend approached her to investigate the stone. Through conversation, they learned that Loader had taken the stone. Diana had a bad feeling that something was wrong, so they quickly went to Loader's company. They chose to enter through the garage in order to avoid being seen. Diana tried to pull the iron lock on the garage, which normally would have been a no-brainer for her, but now it took her a lot of effort to get the lock open. After entering, they found that Loader was not in his office. After some searching, Diana found a clue to the stone on Loader's desk. She immediately calls Barbara and asks him to investigate where the stone was found. That's when her boyfriend Steve finds a plane ticket and learns that Loader is in Cairo. So they stole a fighter jet and quickly went to look for Loader. At this moment, Loader is dashing around with his men. Suddenly, Diana saw him from the cab. She paid for the cab and turned around and chased after him. At that moment, Loader also found Diana. He told his men to take care of them. Steve's cab couldn't hold up under the heavy impact of the armored car. Then two more people shot at them. In the nick of time, Diana turned into Wonder Woman. She didn't want to hurt anyone. She just jumped onto a car and ripped the steering wheel off. In the face of the enemy's fierce attack, Diana had no choice but to push up an abandoned truck as a shield and block the front. Diana got under the car and kicked it out. Then she leapt into the air and jumped onto Loader's car in one go. She asked him where the rock was. and Loader said that it was in front of you. Before Diana could react, she was attacked by Loader's men again. She had no choice but to cross to the back of Loader's car. At that moment, Loader's men hit the steering wheel and almost knocked Diana out of the car. Suddenly, another armored car came and pinned Diana in the middle. Diana exerted all her strength to stomp away the incoming armored car, but the next second, the armored car crashed into her again. Fortunately, Steve arrived in time and stopped the armored car, but that's when the danger came back. The children didn't notice the speeding car and were playing in the middle of the road. Diana rushed to call out to Steve. Steve quickly fires a cannonball. After the shell was fired, Diana wrapped a rope around it and used the speed of the shell to overtake the car that was crashing into the children. Diana managed to save the children before the car reached them. The children were rescued. She was also exhausted ever since she wished for her boyfriend to come back to life. It was as if her powers were slowly fading. The battle left her wounded. After a little adjustment, she contacts Barbara again to ask for information about the mysterious stone. Barbara brings them to a man who claims to be a descendant of the Mayans. He also had an ancient book that recorded the origin of the stone. It turns out that the stone had been given divine powers by a bad god named Herifer. He could grant people's wishes, but when he did so, he would take away the most important things from them. According to him, if you want to stop this, either the stone will be destroyed, or the person making the wish will voluntarily give up the wish. At that moment, Diana suddenly remembered the words that Loader said. She suddenly realized that Loader had inherited the power of the stone. At this moment, they realize that the situation is not good and want to stop Loader. But Barbara doesn't agree because she doesn't want to lose what she has now. Loader is using his power in a big way, fulfilling wishes with various business and financial tycoons in exchange for what is most valuable to them. The originally peaceful city was in chaos by Loader, and he even came to the White House to control the president and wanted to use the country's technology to broadcast live. As he takes control of some of his men and tries to leave, Diana and Steve try to stop him. After a fight, Diana managed to take out several of his men, but just then, they were knocked away by Barbara. At this moment, Barbara is completely blinded by her desire. She only wants to be beautiful and strong. She doesn't care about other people's lives. She can't let Diana destroy Loader. At this moment, Diana's power is getting weaker and weaker, and she is no match for Barbara. Even if she uses the rope, she can't get close to Barbara. Diana is beaten and immobilized. While Barbara and Loader leave in the plane, the upper level fell, and the crowd outside rioted. At this point, the two of them are in a desperate situation. Diana lost the power of God. Steve is just an ordinary person, cannot fight with Barbara, so he was ready to sacrifice himself in exchange for Diana's power. He tried to persuade Diana to give up her wish, although Diana did not want to give up. But in order to save the innocent people, she had to make a choice. So she kissed Steve goodbye for the last time. After giving up her wish, Diana's power was immediately restored. Her wounds slowly healed. Meanwhile, Barbara made a wish to Loader again. She wanted the topmost person. As the live broadcast begins, Loader looks into the camera, and he wants the entire world to make a wish on him, so that he can get the most precious thing in the world. At that moment, Diana leapt from the sky wearing the golden eagle battle armor, but was stopped by a woman in the form of a leopard. She is Barbara. Loader turned Barbara into a leopard woman through her wish. The leopard woman is very fast and swoops down and sends Diana flying. Then she attacked Diana with a fierce attack. Diana rushed to defend herself with her wings. However, the wings could not stop Barbara's attack and were shattered. Diana had regained her power and she was not afraid to fight with her. Diana leapt up on the wall and grabbed Barbara from the air. With a beautiful pirouette, she slammed her to the ground and then wrapped the rope around her and threw her into the water. Diana tries to make a last-ditch effort to persuade her to turn back, but Barbara was insistent. Diana had to pull down the wire to give her a fatal blow. By the time Diana found Loader, he had gained great power. A huge wall of wind was wrapped around him. Diana couldn't even get close. Loader slowly walked towards a high platform. He wanted to destroy the world. In the nick of time, Diana threw out the rope to stop him. At that moment, Loader saw his son outside through the rope, calling out to him and looking for him. In the end, he let go of all his evil thoughts because of his son and returned to him. The people, under Diana's inspiration, also let go of their wishes. From then on, the world regained its peace.